Are you ready for class? Welcome back to the Panic Room, everyone, and to another episode of Pax's Library of Horrors. So guys, if you tuned in for the last few episodes, you know that I recently went to a book sale at my library and found a bunch of kind of spooky, kind of crazy kids books for our little series here. So today we're going to be going through one of those. Now, unfortunately, the one that we're going to go through today is a little too long to read, but boy, does it have some awesome artwork. So good. Today's book is The Witch's Child. Yeah, so let's check out the cover first. Sorry for the glare, guys. It's super shiny. But yeah, we see that. Now, if you're like me, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it's going to be about a nice witch that makes a kid like a la Pinocchio. No, it's not. Okay, so the author for this book is Arthur Yorinks, and the illustrator is Joss A. Smith. I hope I'm saying that right. So, right off the bat, we have a bat. And then look, I love branches. Does anyone else like branches? Comment down below. Do you have a thing for branches? Like, I love this. I love this whole aesthetic. It's gorgeous. I'll read you guys the little blurb on the inside. When a witch wishes to have a child of her own, she creates one from straw and names her Rosalie. But when the witch tries to coax the straw girl into life, she's thwarted at every turn, until finally she abandons her inanimate creation. But one day while the witch is away, a young girl wanders into the witch's house and befriends Rosalie. But she tarries for too long, and the witch comes home. Who will save the young girl? Essentially what we have here is a witch who wants a child. And like you heard in the blurb, she does make a straw child. So far, we kind of have our Pinocchio thing going on. Which, side note, anybody else think Pinocchio was weird? Like, not the original story so much, but like the Disney movie. Do you remember when he like turned into the donkey? That whole scene with kids, like little boys turn into donkeys? I thought that was pretty traumatizing at the time. So guys, there is so much about the illustrations in this book that are gorgeous. Like, check this out. This is the title page. Look at this. Like, look, the font, the candle, everything. Is that not pretty? Like, I thought that was gorgeous. Yeah, right? I thought so. And we haven't even gotten to the book yet. So we have a witch who, of course, the whole town fears. And she flies out every night, and the book says that she is absolutely heartless. And she flies out every night with lightning strikes and wind roaring. All right, now look at this. Look at this. Is that not just straight out of your Halloween dreams? So the thing that really first got me about this book and why I wanted to do it for a little library series is right after she makes this doll, she immediately starts to get mad because she can't bring it to life. And we have this creepy scene of her like shaking this fake child. Yeah, and let's just check out the child here. Yeah, right? You know, I'm not one to be scared of like scarecrows and stuff, but this just has all of the scarecrow vibes, doesn't it? So then we get a few pages with the witch trying to coax the little girl to life. And she tries things like giving her toys, you know, and nothing's working. So she just keeps getting more and more frustrated. So the witch sees a bunch of children playing in a field, and she thinks like, maybe my daughter needs some friends. I'll take her and see if the kids playing with her will wake her up. Well, kids being kids, they didn't really know what to do with her. You know, she's a straw doll. So they're like kind of getting rough with her, and she starts to fall apart, which pisses the witch off. And what happens when you piss a wicked witch off? Yeah, she turns you into like trees and brambles and shit. Yeah, those are children. Look at that, just turning into a tree or a bush or whatever the hell. So the witch gets mad, grabs up the doll after she changes all the town's children into trees and stuff, and marches back home. So then we get this little girl, Lena, who you find is wandering by herself in the forest. Now, in case you haven't read any children's story, you know that this always ends in tragedy. So Lena, because apparently kids are never taught manners in these stories, wanders into the witch's house. Yeah, and she sees Rosalie, the little straw doll, laying on the ground, and she's all disheveled. So Lena, because she's a good little girl, starts to kind of put her back together. And so this kindness that Lena is showing to her gives the little doll the one thing that she couldn't get from the witch, which was a loving heart. Now, before anything else is done, the witch comes home. and spots Lena with Rosalie, and she thinks Lena's trying to steal her. And the line that she tells the little girl is straight out of Hansel and Gretel. "You'll do very nicely as my supper tonight, young lady." Anybody else think it's weird that like eating kids shows up in like various kids' books? You know, like cannibalism is just like an okay thing, like it's an okay go-to for a kid's book. I mean, because we had Hansel and Gretel, they might have been like the first to do it, but yeah, why is this a thing? Why is that okay in kids' books? Like, you don't see cannibalism happen in like a ton of movies for adults. Why is it okay in kids' books? So Lena is like backing up, you know, they're having that final boss battle between her and the witch, and this whole time she still has a hold of Rosalie, right? So the witch gets up to her, and all of a sudden, Rosalie comes to life and wraps her arms around Lena to help save her from her witch mother. Look at this nightmare fuel. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, I get this is supposed to be like a touching moment, but good Lord. So you have the witch like, you know, my daughter's loved, but I'm still gonna eat you. And she lunges for the girl and goes into the fire. Because like Rosalie pulls the little girl out of the way, so the witch just goes heads first into a fire. Sweet dreams, little kid. All right, so then Lena is all freaked out. So Rosalie like holds her and comforts her after this, you know, traumatic death by burning that just happened in front of them. So because the witch is dead now, all of the kids that she turned into like bushes and shit come back, but we never get that expounded on. However, you know, you might be wondering what happened to the straw doll. Well, Lena takes her home. And I guess after one of the weirdest conversations between a daughter and her parents ever, they decided to adopt this little straw girl. Yeah, so I guess you could say it had like a happy ending, maybe? Personally, I see that might be like the beginning of a horror movie, but that's just me. And that's it. I guess they all lived happily ever after with their little straw daughter. And the kids that got turned back from being trees and shrubs probably needed years of therapy and might have had weird fears about like grass and leaves, but you know, it's all water under the bridge now, right? But guys, that was The Witch's Child. Tell me, what do you think? You know, I feel like witches are kind of a staple in a lot of kids' books, especially the scary kids' books, but this one was a little different. You know, this was a little Pinocchio, this was a little Hansel and Gretel, you know, and there's a lot of elements to those stories. Like, you guys know I've mentioned in the past, the Grimm's fairy tales were not really kid-friendly in a lot of ways, you know. I feel like some of the stuff that we talk about is almost harkening back to the original use of these characters and these tropes in kids' stories. But you tell me, guys, down below, what do you think? But thank you for coming back to another episode of Pax's Little Library of Horrors. Please, if you like this, hit like, hit subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time, class dismissed.